Hari Om. Hari Om, everyone. All right. I request everyone to switch on your videos. We will begin. Yes. Welcome to Gita Panchamrit webinar series. We will be having 7 sessions starting from today, same time. And the beginning prayer that we do is already displayed here. And the 5 shlokas are already shared with you as PDF also, right? I will also display it here. All right, chalo. Shall we start? सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् Paramanandamaadhavam. So as I said, Hari Om and welcome to the first session of this Gita Panchamrit webinar. Gita Panchamrit, nectar of the Bhagavad Gita in 5 verses. Gita Panchamrit. Amrit means nectar. I think most of you will probably know me. I am Brahmachari Ved Chaitanya. I serve in Chinmaya Mission's research wing, which is Chinmaya International Foundation, and now I am also serving at Chinmaya Vishwavidyapit in Ernakulam, Kerala. And I will be conducting this particular workshop. It will be an online module, but I expect all of you to have same kind of attention as though this is happening in person in front of you all. That's why I request everybody to switch on your video so that you feel that this session is happening in person. So what is this Gita Panchamrit? We will see. Today is the first session, introduction session, and in the coming 5 sessions, each will be seeing the 5 shlokas which are selected also. So let us start. Gita. When we say Gita, what is the first thing that comes to our mind? Bhagavad Gita. But what do we know about Bhagavad Gita? That is the question. Many of us have heard about Bhagavad Gita, but not Bhagavad Gita. We may know many things about Bhagavad Gita, but we may not know what Bhagavad Gita actually is telling. And in today's digital world, there are many universities running parallelly, which are called social media universities, WhatsApp universities. And in those universities, lot of content about Bhagavad Gita keeps coming. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Shri Krishna says to Arjuna, what? If one girl goes, don't worry, another will come. Now, why will Bhagavan Shri Krishna and Arjuna in the battlefield discuss this point? But the moment something is said as Shri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, it is said, we immediately read. So we may have heard so many things about Bhagavad Gita, but what it is exactly, that is what we are going to explore in these sessions. Lot of misconceptions also we will be trying to remove about Bhagavad Gita. Right? So what do we know about Gita? Number one, Bhagavad Gita. Gita means Gita. Gita means song. It is the song of God, Bhagavat. Bhagavad Gita is song of Bhagavan. So it is the divine song of God. And it is a song of spiritual knowledge. This is the first thing that we must know, that it is a Adhyatmika Grantha, spiritual text. Now, when we say spirituality or spiritual, there is a very interesting word in Sanskrit which we use for this called Adhyatma. Right? Adhyatma. Adhyatma means what? Atma means self. Adhi plus Atma. Adhi means pertaining to. So Adhyatma means that which is pertaining to the self. Right? Like for example, there is a physical world and there is a science that deals with that physical world and which is called physics. Right? So physics is what? The science of the physical world. It pertains to the world. Chemistry is the science of chemicals. It pertains to chemicals. In the same way, Adhyatma Shastra, it is also a science that deals with the self. And Bhagavad Gita is a text that gives knowledge of that science. Adhyatma Vidya is given in Bhagavad Gita. So, by name, it is Bhagavad Gita. It is the song of God. Why Bhagavad Gita? Why that word is very important? Because there are many Gitas in scriptures. There is Avadhuta Gita, Ashtavakra Gita, Rama Gita, Lakshmana Gita, Shiva Gita. So many Gitas are there. Rudra Gita. So many Gitas are there. This is a very special one. It's called Bhagavad Gita. There is only one which is called Bhagavad Gita, and that is this. Which is that? A dialogue between Shri Krishna, Bhagavan Shri Krishna and Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Bhagavad Gita. And when it is said dialogue between Shri Krishna and Arjuna, we must know that it is the knowledge given by Shri Krishna to Arjuna. We should not confuse that Arjuna gave knowledge. No. Shri Krishna gave knowledge to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. That is what is Bhagavad Gita. Another thing, it is part of the great epic called Mahabharata. Mahabharata, huge text. Around 1 lakh shlokas, verses we have at the moment, the Mahabharata that we have now. This Bhagavad Gita is not an independent text, but it is part of this Mahabharata, of a bigger text called Jayam or Mahabharata. The old name of Mahabharata was Jaya. So, part of that big text. In Mahabharata also, there are 18 sections called 18 Parva. Right? In that, Bhishma Parva is the section in which this Bhagavad Gita comes, which is, again, as I said, part of a bigger text. Also, please note, I have used the word epic, not used the word mythology. Because Ramayana and Mahabharata are not. Mythology word or mythology comes from myth. Myth means that which is not real. Kalpanika. Mythology is Kalpanika. Mahabharata, Ramayana are not Kalpanika. They are not myths. They are not imaginary characters, imaginary stories. They are real stories. They are part of itihasa, history, not mythology. Okay. Sometimes we don't find correct English word and therefore whatever word we have heard earlier, we start using it. But we should be very careful not to use the word mythology for Ramayana and Mahabharata, because these are the actual stories, real stories that happened. Therefore, they are part of history, itihasa. Itihasa, see the word itself says itihasa, thus it happened. And therefore, it is not imaginary stories, imaginary characters, it's not a fiction. It is real stories. Now this history which is great, it becomes epic. Many things are part of history, but this is a great history, therefore it is called epic. So better term for Mahabharata is epic. So Bhagavad Gita, we know, is not an independent text. It is part of a bigger text called Mahabharata, which is authored by Bhagavan Sri Vedavyasa. So Bhagavad Gita is also authored by him. And it is a dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna. Next. It contains around 700 verses, which are divided into 18 chapters. So Bhagavad Gita, when we say there are 18 chapters and in all there are around 700 shlokas. Why I say around? Because in some places it is also 701 shlokas. There is one particular shloka which is considered, which is not considered. Some difference of opinion is there, but around 700 shlokas are there in this Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Now you see, very interesting. There is what we call as the Dhyana shloka, meditative verse. Before we begin the study of Bhagavad Gita, we generally chant that shloka. And it is very interesting because it gives all this information about Bhagavad Gita. 9 shlokas are there from their first shloka. Those who know can chant with me. It's not displayed. Those who don't know, just listen, no problem. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrita Varshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Amba Tvamanusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim. Entire thing, whatever you need to know about Bhagavad Gita is mentioned there. Parthaya Pratibodhitam. It was taught to Partha Arjuna. By whom? Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam. By Bhagavan Narayana, Bhagavan Mahavishnu, Bhagavan Shri Krishna himself. Vyasena Gratitam. And it was authored by Veda Vyasa, who is also Narayana. So if you see, Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam. So not two different people, told by somebody else, written by somebody else. No. Same Bhagavan Mahavishnu has taken incarnation as Sri Krishna also, and Veda Vyasa also is Bhagavan Vishnu's incarnation. So there is no discrepancy between the two. That maybe Sri Krishna told something else, Veda Vyasa wrote something else. Not possible, because it is the same person. Narayane Swayam Gratitam. Right? Who is that Veda Vyasa? Purana Munina Vyasena. One who has written all the Puranas, one who has compiled all the Vedas. That great Maharishi. So he will not make mistakes. Where Madhye Mahabharatam, in the text called Mahabharata, he has written this Bhagavad Gita. And how is this Bhagavad Gita? Advaitamrita Varshinim. It showers the nectar of Advaita, non-duality. Ashtadasha Adhyayinim, that which is made up of 18 chapters. And the author says, Amba, O mother, Tvam Anusandadhami, I remember you, I seek your blessing, I worship you, study you. What? Amba Tvam Anusandadhami. Bhagavad Gita, oh Bhagavad Gita, Bhavadveshinim. Why are you doing this? Why are you studying? Because Bhagavad Gita is the one that will destroy Bhavadvesha. Bhavadvesha means samsara dukkha. All the sorrows that I am facing, you are the one who is going to remove. Bhagavatim is also said in the previous line. You are goddess, you are mother, I study you. So everything that we need to know about Bhagavad Gita is mentioned in this one shloka. Right? Now, when we speak of great masters who have come after Veda Vyasa also, they have all spoken on Bhagavad Gita, about Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavan Shankaracharya has written great commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Madhusudan Saraswati ji, who has also authored that shloka that we just chanted, he has also written beautiful commentary. And so many other, masters also, great acharyas, Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, and so many great authors have written commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. Sant Jnaneshwar Maharaj. Even the recent ones, the last century ones, if you see, Mahatma Gandhi ji, Vinoba Bhave, Lokmanya Tilak, Sri Aurobindo, everybody has written about Bhagavad Gita, written on Bhagavad Gita. But in the modern time, if there is one master who has brought this Bhagavad Gita, as we often say, from the puja room to the living room, that was our Gurudev Pujya Swami Chinmaya. If you see the history also, you will see that people in the 18th, 19th century used to worship Bhagavad Gita, keep it in the puja room, offer haldi, kumkum and everything, but never opened it and never read it. It was a sacred text, agreed, but they never took it and never opened it. Gurudev in his lifetime made sure that everybody reads Bhagavad Gita. Gurudev conducted more than 500 Jnana Yajnas talk series More than 2000, 3000, 4000, I don't know how many sessions on Bhagavad Gita Pujya Gurudev conducted. So, when Gurudev looked at Bhagavad Gita, how did he look at Bhagavad Gita? He said, it is a manual of self-unfoldment that teaches us the art of man-making. These are very two famous texts. Self-unfoldment has all the, what do you say, as the applied knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Art of man-making are his talks on Bhagavad Gita, which were broadcasted on All India Radio. So Gurudev looked at Bhagavad Gita as not just a holy scripture, not just a scripture of spiritual knowledge, but as a guide, as a manual that can help us in our life. You see, every single electronic equipment that we use comes with a manual. Whether it is laptop, whether it is projector, whether it is mobile, everything comes with that manual. You must have seen also that manual generally, when we were growing up, that manual will come in different languages also. English will be there, Chinese will be there, Japanese will be there. And of course, as children, we will take that and we will start reading in Chinese. Not that we understand Chinese, not that anybody who is listening will understand that, but we used to love that. Remember that piece of paper used to come folded into small things and will be there in that same box. That small piece is very important because it tells me how to use that instrument. If I don't read the manual, two things will happen. Either I will not know how to use, or number two, it may happen that I don't understand how to use it correctly or completely. That is also possible. See, we all use mobiles, right? Mobile phones we all use, but not all of us know everything about mobile. Many times it happens, suppose you want to call somebody. You ask, how do you call somebody? Everybody will have different way of calling. Somebody will open the contacts, list of contacts, search the contacts, or some people even scroll to that particular number, to that particular name, and then go inside that contact and then call. Somebody will say, why do you do all these things? There is a keypad, you start typing the name, the number will start coming up, you just call. Somebody will say, no, there is easier way also. What? You can put speed dial. You just press that number 2, directly call will go to that person. Number 3, call will go to another person. See, the same instrument, when I know how to use, when I read the manual will tell me the intricacies also. Not just how to use it basically, but how to go deeper and how to use effectively. We all have these instruments. We all have body, we all have mind, we all have intellect. But do we know how to use them? Do we know how to use them effectively? If we don't know, we must go to the manual of it. That manual is Bhagavad Gita. A manual of life, manual of self-unfoldment. We have so many personalities. We are probably not even aware of all of them. When I say we have a lot of personalities, don't think that we have dual personality and all that. Okay, I am not talking about that all the time I am calm and then suddenly I become angry. Not that kind of person. Layers to our personality. We have a physical layer, we have an emotional layer, we have intellectual layer, we have spiritual layer. How to unfold it, how to understand it, that is what is taught by Bhagavad Gita. So, it is a manual of self-unfoldment that teaches us the art of man-making, as Gurudev would explain it, who is called the modern day Gita Acharya. So, we should look at Bhagavad Gita in this way. If you see, at the end of every chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there is a particular line that is repeated. Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. Then name of the chapter will be there. Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama Prathamodhyaya, whatever name of the chapter and the number of the chapter. But if you see there, Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre, 2 points are told there. That it is the text that gives Brahma Vidya, spiritual knowledge, and also Yoga Shastra, practical tips on how to live our life, how to apply that knowledge. So it is a pure science as well as applied science. Everything clubbed together, every chapter of Bhagavad Gita. This is what we know about Bhagavad Gita. Now, there are many misconceptions about Bhagavad Gita. Let us address them first. First misconception. What? Bhagavad Gita is outdated and irrelevant. Why? Because it was narrated 5,000 plus years ago and the times have changed. Many of us must have heard this. Many of us might have believed this also. There is no doubt that it was narrated 5,000 plus years back. There is no doubt that the times have changed. The question is, does that make Bhagavad Gita outdated? Does it make Bhagavad Gita irrelevant? This is what we must think about. This misconception, why do people have? Because most of the knowledge that we have, which is from the past, is not relevant today. Because the situation is different, because the society is different, because the times have changed. And therefore it is natural that people may think that since Bhagavad Gita is also told 5,000 plus years back, before Kali Yuga even started, maybe that knowledge is no more applicable. It is possible that somebody may think like this. But what are the facts? Number one, it contains universal laws that do not change with time. Certain things, certain laws change with time and place. For example, legal age for driving a car in India is 18. You must be minimum 18-year-old in order to get a license. Now, this particular law which we have is specific to place and time. Maybe in some other country, the age may be different. At other point of time in history or in future, the age may be different. So there are certain laws which change with the place and with time. But there are certain laws that do not change. You must speak truth. This law doesn't change with time. It doesn't say, no, 200 years back it was okay to lie. Today it is not okay. To tell you frankly, even the thieves who cheat others, they want truth be spoken within their group. Yes or no? Within the 4 or 5 of them, they expect loyalty. They may be disloyal to the rest of the world. So loyalty as a value, as a character has not changed. It is universal. Every single religion, every single country will tell about the same law. It is not that only in this place, in this religion, it is said you should speak truth. In other places, it is okay. No. Speaking truth is a universal quality, is a universal law that doesn't change with time. That doesn't change with place also. Bhagavad Gita contains these universal laws, these universal concepts. We said that Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata. But what we must understand, Mahabharata as a text is a text that tells a lot of stories. Actually, it is a text that explains Dharma, Brahma, all these concepts through stories. Right? The medium used is story. But Bhagavad Gita doesn't have stories. Within that text Mahabharata, which is full of stories, this particular section or portion deals with a spiritual dialogue. And therefore, they are not talking about something that happened at 5,000 years back only. No, they are talking about something that is relevant even now. Understand the difference. Arjuna's questions to Sri Krishna are specific to particular time. He is not asking, Sri Krishna, what dress should I wear tomorrow? See, that answer may change according to the person, according to the time. He is not asking about that. He is asking philosophical questions, which are universal in nature. And therefore, these universal laws which are described in Bhagavad Gita can never become outdated, can never become irrelevant. Point number one. Point number two. It is focused on managing the internal war, which is relevant even today. What is Bhagavad Gita telling? Bhagavad Gita is telling how to manage the war inside us. So Arjuna, who is there in Bhagavad Gita as a central character who is asking the questions, he represents all of us. Why? Because Arjuna was also going through war. We are also going through war. Which? The war within. Arjuna was confused. He didn't know what to do. Correct or no? He was confused. Shri Krishna, should I fight or should I not fight? Now this particular war we are going through every day. Right at the beginning, early morning, our war starts. Alarm rings and two options come on the mobile. Snooze, cancel. Shall I snooze or shall I cancel? War starts. And we are not just happy with one alarm. We put 4-5 alarms. Each one with snooze button. You see how we are extending the war? Then what should I wear? Should I go or should I not go? Should I eat one more chapati or should I not eat? Should I sleep now or should I? All the time we are confused. All the time we are not clear about what am I supposed to do. So what Arjuna asked is actually representing all of us. Is actually asking our questions. That is why it is relevant. You can't say Bhagavad Gita is not relevant. Why? Because my questions are also answered. It may be true that it was told 5,000 years back, but it is not outdated because it has universal laws, and it is not irrelevant because Arjuna represents all of us. The questions are still same. More so, actually it is more relevant today than it was in the past. The Bhagavad Gita is more for us than for Arjuna. We must understand this because Bhagavan Sri Krishna was physically present in front of Arjuna. If he wished, he could have just touched Arjuna and Arjuna's confusion would have gone. No need of touch also. Sankalpa matrena, he would have had one thought and his confusion would have gone. But for us, only the words of Sri Krishna are there. That's why in one of the Dhyana shlokas it is also said, Sarvopanishado gavo dogdha gopala nandanaha partho vatsaha sudhihi bhokta dugdham gita amritam mahat. Imagine this Bhagavad Gita is like milk. That milk is coming from where? Sarva Upanishadaha gava. Cows are all the Upanishads. So from that cows, from all the Upanishads, the essence, the nectar of milk is taken. And is taken by whom? Who is the milkman? The milkman is Gopalanandanaha. One who was expert. From his childhood, he was expert in milking the cow. Why? Because Bhagavan Sri Krishna was raised by Gopalas. Dogdha Gopalanandana. But the cow gives milk only when there is calf. Upanishads will give their essence as Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita will come out only when there is a calf. The calf is Arjuna. But the milk is not meant only for calf. When the calf is there, cow gives milk, but the milk is for all. Sudhihi bhokta. Every good mind, good intellect who wants to gain this spiritual knowledge is the enjoyer of this milk. Actually, Bhagavan Sri Krishna gave this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, not for Arjuna. Please understand the difference. He gave the knowledge to Arjuna, but it is meant for all of us. That is why Bhagavad Gita is more relevant today than it was in the past. So first misconception, please remove from your mind that it is outdated or irrelevant. No, it is not outdated, it is not irrelevant. It is very much relevant, probably more relevant to us than it was to Arjuna. Alright? Next misconception. What? Very well-known misconception. It is meant only for the old retired people. Since it deals with the spiritual knowledge, it is assumed to be for old people alone, something that is to be studied after retirement. Most of the people believe this is true. Yes or no? We also keep postponing, saying that we will study. When we have finished living our life, when everything is over, then we will study Bhagavad Gita. We keep postponing. And by mistake, suppose you start studying also Bhagavad Gita or any spiritual text, you tell your friends or your family members that you are studying Bhagavad Gita, first question they will ask is, why? What happened? As though it is like hospital where you go only when there is some problem. You go to hospital, they will ask, why, what happened? Like that, studying Bhagavad Gita, they think that something bad has to happen for you to come to this knowledge. I also face this kind of, and I'm sure many brahmachari swamis, we all face this kind of thing. They come to us and they very sympathetically they ask, Vedji, what happened in your life that you came on this path? And many times they are expecting a very spicy answer. That I was in love with a girl and she said no, and therefore, I had nothing, nowhere to go. So let me go to spirituality. When they don't get such answer, they become very, sad. When I tell them that, no, I was part of mission from the beginning and I liked studying Vedanta. Oh, that's why you went. They are not convinced about the answer. Why? Because somehow we have started to think that spirituality is only meant for afterlife, after you have finished. And it is meant only for those who have problems. Somehow we have started to think like this. But of course it is not true. We cannot say it is meant only for old and retired people. We cannot say that. Why? Simple fact. It was told to Arjuna and not to Bhishma, Dhritarashtra, Kunti or Gandhari. Simple. See the historicity of it. Shri Krishna had all these people in front of him. Most of them were not even part of war. Would have been better. They are relaxed. You can go there and teach them. No, it was told to Arjuna. One who has to live life. So you cannot say that it is meant for old retired people only. No, that you cannot say. It teaches us how to live life, and hence it should be studied when young, when one is supposed to take decisions of life. It's more relevant for youngsters. I am not saying that it is not meant for old retired people. Please. That's why next point I say, actually it is for all, young and old. It is meant for everyone. Why? Because it teaches me how to live. I cannot just categorize it saying this is meant only for old people. No. Yes, it is meant for old people also, but so too it is meant for the middle-aged people and the young people and the children and everybody. Okay? To study Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because everything is the right age to study Bhagavad Gita. Earlier, the better. Don't postpone it. Whenever you are attending this webinar, start studying. Don't postpone it hereafter. Why? Because this is meant for all of us. Whatever age group we are. If we are small children, we are teaching small children, we should teach basic. How to chant, how to understand simple meaning, simple words. That much only Bhagavad Gita. Then as you become young, as you start, understanding things, then you can go a little deeper. Middle-aged man will understand even better. Elderly person will understand it much better because they have lived life and they have seen things. But that does not mean that I have to wait to retire so that I can start studying Bhagavad Gita. That's not true. The day you understand that you need to take charge of your life, the day you understand that spirituality should be brought into your life, that day you should start studying. Don't be in any kind of, procrastination mode. Don't push it forward. Do it now. So this is the second misconception that we must remove. Number 3. What? Only Hindus should study it. Why? Because it is told by Sri Krishna, who is worshipped as a Hindu deity, and it is the holy book of Hindus. And therefore, only Hindus should study. Many people believe so. Now, again, it is told by Sri Krishna, correct. Who is worshipped as a Hindu god, correct. It is the holy book of Hindus, correct. Up to here, everything is correct. But that does not mean that only Hindus should study it. Actually speaking, to break many people's bubble, the word Hindu does not come anywhere in Bhagavad Gita. Rather, it does not come anywhere in Mahabharata only. For that matter, the word religion also does not come anywhere. Because the concept of religion was not there in our culture. Religion is an English word, right? So, English word should have some Sanskrit equivalent, no? There is no equivalent term for religion in Sanskrit. Why? Because the concept did not exist here. Why will we create a word when the concept is not there? See, computer, when the computer came, then we created a word called Sanganaka. As long as the concept was not there, why will there be word? Even today, we do not have any equivalent term for religion in Sanskrit. We may use the word dharma, but dharma does not mean religion. Dharma means nature. Dharma means qualities. Dharma means duties. Dharma means righteousness, morality. It does not mean religion. Sampradaya, pantha, all these terms, none of them mean religion. So, to say that Bhagavad Gita is meant only for Hindus is not true. What is the fact? The fact is, it is a book of spiritual knowledge and doesn't limit itself to any particular religion. Whether I am a Hindu or a Muslim or a Christian or a Buddha, or it doesn't matter. Me only know. My mind is still my mind. And how I need to work on is still the same. Another mistake that we do many times is we associate a language to a religion. We say because Bhagavad Gita is told in Sanskrit, therefore it is meant for Hindus. Again, wrong. Why? You cannot have one language for one religion. That doesn't make sense. Language is a medium. You can't say everything that is in Urdu is meant for Islam people only. No. It is meant for others also. Rather, Urdu was originated in Bharat. You know that, right? It may be the legal language and country's language, national language for many countries other than Bharat, but it originated in our land. So you cannot say that because it is in Sanskrit, therefore it is for Hindus only. No, you can't say like that. It is meant for everyone, not just for Hindus. Yes, it is a holy book of Hindus. I'm not saying no. Now, today, whom we call as Hindus and Hindu religion people, for us it is a holy book, but it contains the wisdom that transcends all religions. It is not talking about any ritual or any particular thing that is only specific to Hindu religion. As I said, it is a philosophical discussion. It is a text that gives spiritual knowledge. Right? Last, actually, it is for all, irrespective of their creed or gender. Nobody, you can say, is not allowed to study Bhagavad Gita. You cannot say that. Nobody is like that. You may be from any nationality. You may belong to any part of the world. You may belong to any religion, any caste of that religion, any creed, any gender, any age group. Bhagavad Gita is meant for all. So, to summarize, Bhagavad Gita is a universal scripture. What do you mean by universal? It is relevant at all times, more relevant in current times. It is for all age groups and not just for the old. It is for all people of all religions and not just for Hindus. Right? This is what Bhagavad Gita is. Bhagavad Gita is a book of spiritual knowledge. This is what we have understood. It is Adhyatmika Jnana Grantha. Grantha text. Jnana means knowledge. Adhyatmika means spiritual. It is a text that gives spiritual knowledge. And also we said that it is a book of guidance, unfoldment. It is Marga Darshaka Grantha. Doesn't just give knowledge, but also tells how to apply that knowledge. That's why we say in our culture, in our tradition, Bhagavad Gita is a Shastra. Very interesting. Okay, no. Shastra word has different meanings. One meaning is science. What do you mean by science? Science means the knowledge that can be verified, that has logic, and it is same for all. Let me explain. In chemistry, we have formulas NaOH plus HCl. When you add NaOH plus HCl, that NaCl, sodium chloride, and H2O, water comes out. Now, this is a formula. If you add NaOH and HCl, these two chemicals, what will happen? NaCl will be formed and water will come out. Now, this is logical, experimental, and experiential. There is a logic to it. You can put it in formula NaOH plus HCl, then NaCl, HHO, H2O. Your logic is there. Experimental, you can go into the lab and experiment yourself and see that water is coming out. And experiential, you yourself can experience. It doesn't matter whether you are from a particular religion or a nationality or caste, creed, whether you understand English or not. Still, NaOH plus HCl will give water. Bhagavad Gita is also science. There is logic to it. You can experiment it and you can experience it. But at the same time, Bhagavad Gita is also an art. See, science and arts, there is a difference. No, art means what? In our educational fields also, there is a science field and there is an arts field. Arts is what? Painting, dance, music. Now, there is no one logic for the arts. It's not like science. What is the main difference? Science is more dependent on the object, the nature of object, whereas arts is more subjective. Something that I like, the kind of music, the kind of dance, the kind of painting, other people may not like. It is personal. And therefore, when I say that this song is good, it is my personal opinion. It cannot be proved scientifically. I hope you are understanding the point. In arts, there is a kind of, what do you say, some personal touch is there. Some subjective feeling is there about arts. So those who don't understand the painting, etc., when they go to the exhibition, painting exhibition, like me, I don't understand. So when I go and I start wondering, what have they painted? Why somebody is paying 1 lakh rupees for this? I will not understand. Why? At the same time, somebody else who understands, he will be like, wow, what strokes. The painter wants to say, what painter doesn't want to say anything? Why is he understanding? I am not understanding. Because it is subjective. If you are trained in that art, then you will understand. You sit in a classical music program, and they will be singing, and the same line they will sing again and again and again, and they are not going forward. So those who don't understand, they will say, what is happening? Go forward, go forward. And the other people who are enjoying, they will say, kya baat hai? And you wonder, kya baat kya hai? What happened? Why? It is personal. He is enjoying, you are not. There's a difference between science and arts. Spiritual knowledge, Bhagavad Gita is a shastra. It is very interesting shastra because it is a science and also an art. It is science because it is logical, experimental and experiential, and it is arts because it talks about the self. It has already made it personalized. It is already subjective. You understand? Bhagavad Gita is a shastra. Shastra also in Sanskrit, very sticking to very traditional definition of shastra. Shastra is shamsanat trayate athava shasanat trayate iti shastram. That which protects trayate. How? Shamsanat, by giving knowledge, or shasanat, or by giving order. So scripture, shastra also means scripture. Shastra also means science, I explained to you. Now shastra also means scripture. What do you mean by scripture? Scripture is that which protects me by giving knowledge or by giving order. Bhagavad Gita is a shastra because it does both. It is Adhyatmika Jnana Grantha. It also gives me knowledge, order also. It also Marga Darshaka. It also points out the path for me and says, walk this path. And then you will reach. So it protects me not just by giving theoretical knowledge, but also by giving practical tips on how to live. You understand? That is why Bhagavad Gita is important for all of us. So, Bhagavad Gita is meant for all people at all times, irrespective of their religion, nationality, caste, creed, gender, or age. Which means it is meant for all of us. It is meant for each one of us. More than anybody else, it is meant for me. Each one of us should think like this. Then we'll be able to understand Bhagavad Gita. Right. Now what? Now we are going to Gita Panchamrit. The title of the workshop was Gita Panchamrit. Gita Panchamrit. Gita, we have understood what do you mean by Gita. Now let us come to Panchamrit. So Amrita means nectar. Supposed to be a drink which gives immortality. Drink in the heaven that gives immortality. That is also called Amrita. Elixir, nectar, all these terms you must have heard about Amrita. right? Now, Bhagavad Gita itself is a nectar. That's why the two shlokas that of the Dhyana shlokas that we chanted also says Gita as Amrit only. Advaita Amrita Varshinim. Isn't it? Dugdham Gita Amritam Mahat. Both the shlokas say Gita as Amrita. It is a nectar. Why? Because drinking it, I will become immortal. Drinking it means taking it inside me, I will become immortal. When I read, when I understand, when I make it my knowledge, it will make me immortal. Not immortal in the sense that I will live forever. No, I will understand that I cannot die. That is called immortality. To understand that I am not this jiva who is born and who is dying, that itself is immortality. I will understand my true nature. That way, Bhagavad Gita is giving me that immortality, and therefore Gita itself is Amrita, Gita Amrita. Now, in addition to that Gita Amrita, there are such a 700 shlokas, such a vast knowledge. When will I get that much? So, summarized in 5 nectarian verses. This entire knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, 700 shlokas, is summarized in the 5 shlokas of Gita only. So, 5 shlokas are selected from those 700 shlokas, which are called Pancha Amrita. Pancha means 5. So, from the entire Gita Amrita, Pancha Amrita is selected. Selected by whom? Selected by our Puja Guruji, Swami Tejomayananji. And why has he done it? To commemorate 75 years of Chinmaya mission. This year, 2026, we are celebrating as 75th year of Chinmaya mission. Gurudev started his first talk or first Jnana Yajna in the year 1951, 31st December 1951 in Pune. So, now 31st December 2025, which just happened, was 75th anniversary of that particular event. So, this entire year we are celebrating as 75th year. And in our tradition, 75th year is Amrita Mahotsav. You see so many nectar things are coming together. So, you have no Rajata Mahotsav, Suvarna Mahotsav, all different 25 years. The 75th year celebration is called Amrita Mahotsav. So, in this Amrita Mahotsav, from Gita Amrita, Pancha Amrita is selected. And that is what we are going to study. The 5 selected shlokas from Bhagavad Gita, which are essence of Sri Krishna's teaching. So, all the 5 shlokas that we will be seeing are all told by Sri Krishna, of course. And they are selected in such a way that it captures the essence of Bhagavan's teaching. Number 2, it demonstrates the entire spiritual path in 5 shlokas. So, there is a particular order in which those 5 shlokas are given. Why? So that you understand, okay, this is where I have to start, then this is the next step, then this is the next step, then this is the next step, and I have to reach here. The entire spiritual path is demonstrated in those 5 shlokas. It is a guidance to all seekers, to all of us, from self-effort to surrender, and from selfless action to absolute freedom. As we start studying, we will understand what is the meaning of all these things. Why? Because the first shloka will talk about self-effort, whereas the last shloka will talk about surrender. The second shloka will talk about the selfless action, and the 4th and 5th shloka will talk about the total freedom. So this is that particular knowledge which will do this. Self-effort to surrender, selfless action to absolute freedom. How are we going to study this? We are going to learn first. We will try to live it, and then we will try to lead. Lead means we will try to demonstrate it ourselves so that others can also get inspiration and learn this. So this Gita Panchamrit is to be learnt by everyone. As I said, I am not saying it should be run by all elderly people. I am not saying it should be learnt by all Hindus. No, I am saying it should be learnt by everyone. Young or old, from any religion, nationality, every one of us should know this, because this is the essence. And actually speaking, you see, Amrita is Amrita. Even if I have a drop of Amrita, I will become immortal. I don't need to drink the entire bucket full of it to become immortal. That's the greatness of Amrita, isn't it? So this Gita Panchamrita is sufficient to give us that nectar, to make us immortal. That is what we are going to study. Now, before we study each verse, we will learn today how to chant each verse. And from the next session, we will go deeper into every single shloka, every single verse. Is that fine? Right. You all have the PDF with you, which is shared. If you don't have, it is there displayed here. So Gita Panchamrit, first shloka. This is from the 6th chapter, 5th shloka from the 6th chapter. I will chant, repeat after me. Uddharedatmanatmanam Natmanamavasadayet Atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu Atmaiva ripuratmanah. Once again, repeat. Uddharedatmanatmanam Natmanamavasadayet Atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu Atmaiva ripuratmanah. Together. Uddharedatmanatmanam Natmanamavasadayet Atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu Atmaiva ripuratmanah. So the first shloka is telling me to take charge and rise up. How does it tell? We will see in the next session. Let us go. Shloka is from 2nd chapter, 47th shloka. Very popular. It was the title track of Mahabharata serial. Right? Repeat, please. Karmanyevadhikaraste Ma phaleshu kadachana Ma karma phalaheturbhuhu Ma te sangostva karmani. Repeat once again. Karmanyevadhikaraste Ma phaleshu kadachana Ma karma phalaheturbhuhu Ma te sangostva karmani. Together. Karmanyevadhikaraste Ma phaleshu kadachana Ma karma phalaheturbhuhu Ma te sangostva karmani. Third verse. So the second shloka, okay. Second shloka is telling me how to act. You should act is first shloka. Second shloka tells how to act. What should be in our mind? What should not be in our mind? We'll see. Now third shloka. This is from the 9th chapter, 27th shloka. Repeat. Yat karoshi yadashnasi Yat juhoshi dadasi yat Yat tapasyasi kaunteya Tat kurushva madarpanam Yat karoshi yadashnasi Yat juhoshi dadasi yat Yat tapasyasi kaunteya Tat kurushva madarpanam. Together. Yat karoshi yadashnasi Yat juhoshi dadasi yat Yat tapasyasi kaunteya Tat kurushva madarpanam. What does this tell? This tells me how to follow spirituality in every single action that we are performing. So I must act, how I must act, and with what attitude I must act. These are the first 3 shlokas. Now the 4th shloka. This is also from 9th chapter, 22nd shloka. Please repeat. Ananyaschintayanto mam Ye janah paryupasate Tesham nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam vahamyaham.
Yogakshemam vahamyaham.
Ananyashchintayanto mam.
Ananyashchintayanto mam.
Ye janah paryupasate.
Ye janah paryupasate.
Tesham nityabhiyuktanam.
Tesham nityabhiyuktanam.
Yogakshemam vahamyaham.
Yogakshemam vahamyaham.
Together. Ananyashchintayanto mam. Ye janah paryupasate. Tesham nityabhiyuktanam. Yogakshemam vahamyaham. If I decide to act, if I know how to act and with what attitude to act, if I know and if I do that, what will Bhagavan do? That is what is the fourth shloka. And then comes the last shloka, very popular. It is also the last shloka of Upadesha of Sri Krishna to Arjuna. It is from the 18th chapter, 66th shloka. We chant it at the end of every chapter actually. When we are concluding Bhagavad Gita, we chant this shloka. Please repeat. Sarvadharman parityajya.
Sarvadharman parityajya.
Mamekam sharanam vraja.
Mamekam sharanam vraja.
Aham tva sarva papebhyah.
Aham tva sarva papebhyah.
Mokshayishyami ma shuchah.
Mokshayishyami ma shuchah.
Sarvadharman parityajya.
Sarvadharman parityajya.
Mamekam sharanam vraja.
Mamekam sharanam vraja.
Aham tva sarva papebhyah.
Aham tva sarva papebhyah.
Mokshayishyami ma shuchah.
Mokshayishyami ma shuchah.
Together. Sarvadharman parityajya. Mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tva sarva papebhyah. Mokshayishyami ma shuchah. So how I should finally surrender? That point of surrender is the fifth shloka. Right? So these are the 5 shlokas that are selected. Uddaridatmanatmanam karmanyevadikaraste yat karoshi yadashnasi ananyashchintayanto mam and sarvadharman parityajya. So your homework for today is, first homework is to read these shlokas again. So from the next session, at the beginning, immediately after the prayer, we will be chanting these 5 shlokas and then we will be continuing with our session. So by the time our workshop is over, we should know how to read. Step number 1. Step number 2, if we can, we should memorize. And then step number 3, we should remember the meaning also. Slowly, not immediately, but we should do that. Eventually we should reach there. Okay, that is how we are going to try to do this. Right. Now, second homework for you is to think on these 3 questions. Question number 1, why should we study Bhagavad Gita? Already some of the pointers are given in today's session, but you think more. Why should you study Bhagavad Gita? Second, what commonalities do we have with Arjuna? We said Arjuna is also, Arjuna was standing there fighting a war. We are also fighting a war. But what other commonalities do we have with Arjuna? The more commonalities we find with Arjuna, the more knowledge we... Correct? So that is second question. Third question, what does Bhagavad Gita mean to us? Us means to each one of us. What does it mean? So please reflect, think on all these questions, and we will continue in the next session. You will get answers to all these also, and your thinking itself is more important than the answers. There is no one correct answer. Each one will have their own correct answer, but thinking is important. That's why at the end of every workshop, we will have these 3 kind of reflect questions for each one of us to think. All right. Now, we conclude the first session. Many of you have already registered for this webinar, and therefore you are part of the Zoom meeting that you all have joined. Many other people have joined on YouTube. You might not have registered, so please register, because from tomorrow's session, it will not be telecasted on YouTube. Okay, it will be only taken for a particular group of people. So if you want to be part of that group, you have to register. So in the description of the same video on YouTube, you will find the registration link. And registration doesn't see, actually no, I wanted to make it free only, but 500 rupees we have kept because you should feel that you have given something and therefore you should attend. This fee is not for anything else. It is for commitment. Generally what we take it for free, we don't have value for it. It should not happen that we don't have value for knowledge. Knowledge cannot be put any amount anyways, but this 500 is for our commitment. That when some money has gone from my pocket, I feel that I must attend. So for that commitment and dedication, we have taken this. So those who have not registered, please register, and from tomorrow you will be able to join in Zoom. All right. We'll see you all tomorrow. Let us conclude. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. If you get any questions on all these sessions, please write it down. We will circulate one form, and last session will be for question answer. So we will go through all the sessions of the workshop. Last session will be for interaction and workshop, for question answer. All right. Thank you. Hari Om.